What's up, guys? A massive sports gambling scandal broke this week involving MLB superstar Shohei Ohtani. Now, on the surface, the allegations are pretty simple. They're claiming Ohtani's interpreter stole $4.5 million from him and then lost it gambling on sports. But when you dig into the details, much of what is said doesn't add up, and this could get messier before it gets better. The story starts with this guy named Matthew Boyer. The FBI is currently investigating Boyer for running an illegal bookmaking scheme in Southern California. ESPN and the LA Times were then alerted to Ohtani's name being included in some of the files, including two $500,000 payments directly from Ohtani's bank account to Boyer himself. That's when Trish Thompson, ESPN's investigative reporter, started asking questions. Shohei Ohtani's representative said that it was actually Ohtani's longtime interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara, betting on sports, and Ohtani had just transferred the money to cover his losses. Ohtani's representatives then offered up Mizuhara for a 90-minute interview this past Tuesday night. And according to ESPN, Mizuhara was extremely open, saying he started placing bets on credit with Boyer after meeting him at a San Diego poker game in 2021. His losses reached $1 million by the end of 2022, and then they ballooned from there. He said, "I'm terrible at gambling. I'm never going to do it again. Never won any money. I mean, I dug myself a hole, and it just kept on getting bigger. And it meant I had to bet bigger, and it just got out of control. I just kept losing. It's a snowball effect." Mizuhara also told ESPN that he routinely bet on international soccer, basketball, the NFL, and college football, but never baseball. He said, "I never bet on baseball. That's 100%. I knew that rule. We have a meeting about it in spring training." Mizuhara also said that he promised to pay Shohei Ohtani back the money, but after agreeing to cover his friend's losses, Ohtani wasn't convinced that Mizuhara wouldn't gamble the money away, so he logged into his own computer and sent the money to Boyer himself. Now, this is where things get interesting. After hearing that Mizuhara told the ESPN that Ohtani had sent the wire transfer himself, Ohtani's representatives walked back their previous statement, saying that Ohtani didn't cover his friend's losses, and instead, they now claim that Ohtani was the victim of, and I quote, "massive fraud" at the hands of his interpreter. Now, this seems highly unlikely. Interpreters don't typically have access to a player's bank account. I also used to work at a bank, and anyone who has ever transferred a large sum of money knows how many hoops you have to jump through to do that, including, but not limited to, security clearance calls to the account holder from the initiating bank to make sure the wire transfer isn't fraud. The more likely scenario, in my opinion, is that Shohei Ohtani's representatives didn't expect Mizuhara to say that Ohtani directly transferred the funds in an illegal bookmaking scheme. This would be a direct violation of the U.S. criminal code and could result in a large fine or even jail time. So they changed their course afterward to protect Ohtani from legal trouble. But there are a few other inconsistencies too. Mizuhara, for instance, says he previously placed bets via DraftKings and assumed bets placed through Boyer were legal. One thing to note here, though, is that this is kind of weird because Ippei Mizuhara has lived in the United States for more than 25 years. He went to middle school, high school, and college in America. He also worked for the Boston Red Sox after school, and he was even in the United States when PASPA was repealed in 2018, allowing sports betting operators to start the legalization process state by state. That's why I find it hard to believe that Mizuhara thought placing $4.5 million of bets on credit through a bookmaker was the same as placing a bet online via DraftKings. I mean, that just makes no sense. The illegal bookmaking world is as shady as it gets, but most of these guys also aren't idiots. Mizuhara has never made more than $500,000 a year, and a bookmaker wouldn't allow him to rack up $4.5 million of bills without an expectation that it could be paid by him or someone else, like Ohtani, who recently signed a $700 million deal. Now, that's not to say that Ohtani will be getting in trouble. Conspiracy theories are already flying around, including that Ohtani was betting on games and is now using Mizuhara as his fall guy. These theories compounded overnight when videos surfaced of Ohtani and Mizuhara acting friendly during Wednesday night's game, which probably wouldn't be the case if you thought your friend stole $4.5 million from you. So, what do I expect? Well, nothing. Major League Baseball has seen a colossal decline in interest over the last few decades. Ohtani is by far the sport's biggest star. He makes $65 million in annual endorsement income, compared to number 2 on that list, Bryce Harper at $7 million annually. And Major League Baseball isn't going to let its golden child get in trouble unless he explicitly bet on games himself. Personally, I don't think Ohtani was betting on games. There are only really 3 scenarios here. Number 1, Mizuhara bet on games and Ohtani covered his losses. Number 2, Mizuhara bet on games and stole the money. Or number 3, Ohtani was the gambler and Mizuhara took the fall. Now, given what we know today, the first scenario, Mizuhara betting on games and Ohtani covering his losses, is probably the most likely outcome. But these headlines are only going to become more common in the future. Major League Baseball gets paid millions of dollars annually by FanDuel and DraftKings. There are sportsbooks inside stadiums throughout the country, and fans are now seeing gambling advertisements everywhere they go, from the podcast they listen to and the shows that they watch, to team social media accounts and game day activations. In some way, MLB is kind of responsible for this behavior. Now, they aren't alone. Virtually every sports league has accepted sports gambling as a significant revenue stream at this point. But they all knew going into this that it would have a catastrophic impact on fans, specifically a younger generation of fans who grew up with smartphones. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying sports gambling should go away. I have placed plenty of bets in my lifetime, and I firmly believe two things. One, people should have the option to bet. And two, funneling people to legal operations instead of illegal bookmakers is a safer strategy. But this Shohei Ohtani story is only the tip of the iceberg. We will see many other athletes rope themselves into sports betting scandals in the years to come, and it feels increasingly likely that there will eventually be more regulation on sports gambling advertisements.